Everybody. This is the fifth session of our weekly Segal Talks. It's Friday already. And my name is Frank Henschke. I'm here from the Segal Theater Center in New York City at the Graduate Center CUNY. And we have been holding talks this week, with our theater artists from New York, but also from around the world to see what is on their mind, what's going on, to try to make sense and what they think about making art in these times of Corona. And we had in the very beginning Taylor Mack and Kirsten Martin from Here Arts Center, who introduced us to the brilliant idea of Taylor's of trickleupnyc.org, a kind of Netflix streaming platform where you pay $10 a month, and then the money will go to New York artists to support their work. And you have access to over 40, 50 videos. And of course, the library will be growing. I think it's a great way to put it together. And both of them shared their work and their lives. We then spoke to friends and colleagues from Hong Kong and China, Mok Chiu Yu and Shu Yi Liao, a choreographer, and Han Chen Fan, who spoke about the situation in Hong Kong and in China. And China, where it seems to be getting better, but a lot of work still will be going online in Hong Kong, where there are so many worries already about the role of the artist in their time and in their society, how that will change when that is over, what the hurdles they will face in their strive for artistic freedom and work. We had the great also Thomas Ostermeyer joining us from Berlin, and Thomas was calling us from his apartment in Schöneberg and telling us to use the time to prepare, especially also for young artists to read, to know. They said it will all be over at a certain time. There is the next generation of theater makers will be coming, and this is a moment perhaps to think about what we are doing. Also, he said, make sure this is not a fatalistic thinking comes in. Makes no sense. There's no bigger meaning, no bigger picture. We should not become in any way distracted by it, and stay sober and just say this is something we have to deal with, and we will, but still it's a time to think about life and death. He said theater is always on the side of life. We both incorporate, as the great Jan Kott said, theater is that space between the living and the dead, but we celebrate both. And now we don't have what we normally have, live encounters. We don't have bodies on stage. We are confined to our homes. So everything that theater is about is not happening, and we have to find a way to deal with it. Yesterday we had great Marco and Ermana from Teatro delle Albe in Ravenna in Italy. They say they live like monks. They get up at 12 noon, work for 8 hours on their write, and then watch 4 or 5 hours videos and films and talk and eat. And they have been doing this for 2 months. And they say they also feel it's a little bit like a field of a farmer, which now has to rest a little bit. It has to air, and that's also trying to reinvent their work. And they're terribly missing being on tour, going out where they are supposed to be. And with us today, we have one of the great masters of contemporary theater and performance globally. This is Toshiki Okada with his great company Chelfitsch, who has been many times at the Segal. We are collaborators. One of the first times I think he came to the US, the very first one actually was at the Playwrights Exchange. And he has really put a stamp on the contemporary work that is of significance for the global community. He acts locally, but he thinks globally and works globally. And I think we are very fortunate and happy to have Toshiki here with us. He also moved his family away from Tokyo after the Fukushima event. And his work has been engaging with the ideas of perhaps of an end of times and of disasters, ecological disasters, and how what we have to focus on. And so Toshiki, welcome first here. What time is it now and where are you?
Yeah, it's 1 a.m. here in Japan.
Yeah,
usually it's time for me to go to bed, but now, it's my pleasure.
And where are you right now? Are you in Tokyo? Are you in your family's home? Where are you?
Yeah, now I'm in the city of Kumamoto, which is far away from Tokyo, where my house with my family is.
So who is with you in your family right now? Who is in the building?
Yeah, my wife and two kids, the
Mhm.
16 years old boys and 20, yeah, the 20th, 12 years old daughter. Yeah. Yeah, my daughter is going to enter her junior high school. Yeah, because April is the time the back to school in Japan. Yeah,
So
but maybe yeah, seemingly the school is still being closed, yeah, for a while. So yeah, I'm not sure if her entrance ceremony will be held or not next week. I don't know.
So how do you spend your days now? What do you do? You are one of the great directors who directs and travels. You just were in New York at the Skirball. Jay Wegman got you there with your latest work. I know
Yeah,
that the set even got stuck in
I
customs during the crisis.
yes, it
You were
was.
lucky to have that shown just before the curtains fell down. So what are you doing? How do you spend your day?
These days, yeah, like many people, I'm also stuck in to my home, and but it's good for me as a writer. Yeah, because it's good to write
So,
some things. Yeah, so I'm almost always struggling between me as a theater director, yeah, who has to go out often, and me as a writer who need to isolation for a while in a way. Yeah, so yeah, most of the cases, I have to be more director than writer. It's yeah, I like it, but at the same time, it's problem. But yeah, these days it's special. Yeah, because it's yeah, I can be in a very good situation as a writer. Yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, and I'm writing and cooking very much every day. Yeah, but I was supposed to start the rehearsal for my next project. Yeah, from next week. Yeah, but we already, so in order to realize that, would I would go to Tokyo to rehearse. Yeah, but we already decided to change the rehearsal online. So yeah, I'm going to stay here in Kumamoto for a while. So yeah, I'm not sure when I'm going to yeah, go to Tokyo. Yeah.
So before we come to your online rehearsal, so how do you write? What time do you get up? Do you write at the computer by hand? Do you have a writing room? How does it work when Toshiki Okada writes?
I'm doing both handwriting and writing on computer. It depends on yeah, my feeling. Yeah, but most of the cases I'm writing on my laptop. Yeah, but to elaborate, yeah, I like to do it in handwriting.
In handwriting. You do it in the mornings, in the nights, or?
I'm morning person, so I'm not good at yeah, awaking until late night. Yeah, because at late afternoon, that I usually am exhausted, so it's not already time for me to write things. So I often write things almost.
So you
from
have
the morning.
You're close to a window. What do you see when you look out of your window?
Now, there is a tree, some trees, by window, but now it's very over midnight.
It's all midnight.
So it's just dark now.
So what do you write at the moment? If you can share a little bit, what's on your mind? What are the sentences? What is the work you're writing right now, like yesterday or today?
My next production is kind of my own way of no theater. No theater is ancient performing arts style in Japan. It's kind of a musical play. I like the concept of no theater because in original no theater, it has a very good way of having the character as a ghost, which I like. Because the putting protagonist character as a ghost can help make the story kind of a political, because of course ghost is some human being who died already, and that death has of course some specific reason. The most of cases, the reason of someone's death is relating to some political or social situation, like war, or such as war. So then, if you can describe someone's death, and in original no theater, the one very interesting thing is that the ghost can tell how they died by themselves. It's very interesting. Because human being cannot do it, of course. Only ghosts can do it, and they do in no theater, which I like. So now, I like to quote that kind of style the no theater has. So now I'm writing my own way of contemporary way of no theater. The one protagonist is, the female architect Zaha Hadid. She was supposed to be designer of a new stadium in Tokyo for Olympic Games. This year. But as you know, it was it was postponed already. But her design once was selected. She won the competition. But after that, it was her design was cancelled due to so many the problematic process. So and after her design was denied, she passed away.
She passed away.
Yeah, she already. So yeah, so that's why I'm thinking about putting her on the protagonist of the my way of no play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
these days I'm writing the text for it.
So the protagonist, a female designer, architect, her design was rejected for the Tokyo Olympics that got canceled anyway. She died, and she comes back as it goes. Did you have that idea already before the Corona crisis, the COVID-19 crisis hit?
That idea of the putting Zaha on the protagonist of my no play, it was what I already had, of course, before pandemic situation was coming. It has nothing to do with it.
So how is your mood? Do you feel, as a creative artist as you are you influenced by this? Do you feel that situation is having an imprint of your work, or do you feel, no, I'm still working as I always did?
Yeah, of course I'm affected in several different ways. One is as I mentioned, now I already had several days of online rehearsals, and it was my first time. I never tried online rehearsal before.
Tell us a bit. How do you do online rehearsal?
Now by far I did just doing workshop with actors. It was his or her first time to work with me. So I need to share. We need to share the my idea. While they're creating theaters. So I was afraid if it works, online rehearsal works or not, but maybe it does.
How many actors, and they are all at home in their room, and you have them in a Zoom meeting, or how does it work?
Yeah.
How many people?
It was kind of Zoom meeting. By far, I did the online meeting just with only one actors. So I don't know, and I'm curious about what happened if several actors are joining at the same time.
So right now you do one-on-one meetings with the actors about the role you are creating. Specifically for the actor.
But in a way, I feel that Zoom meeting might be better to have the atmosphere as a discussion. But I don't know. I don't know if it's like.
So you mean the atmosphere of a Zoom meeting adds to the message and the content and the general atmosphere of the play?
Because in screen, everyone is obviously equivalent. So there is no kind of a hierarchy of like director is top and like this. So and everyone can see the any other person is talking or doing something. So it seems flat in a way. So I hope it works to make the atmosphere of rehearsal kind of flat equivalent or democratic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's an interesting thought. I never thought about it, that Zoom in a way adds to democratic distribution, of artistic engagement in company meetings, because everybody has the same space on the computer and the same time, hopefully, to talk. And I know René Polish in Germany, who is now taking over the Volksbühne after Castorp, he always said that people write so many plays about revolution and changes, but the way they produce their work, it's dictatorial, authoritarian. There's the director who says he even changes this and that from the writers, whatever, but there's no, if you don't have a kind of a democratic distribution of work on stage, how can you advocate with your work what ultimately the artistic goal is? So he distributes text to the actors write text, he arranges them and puts them up. So that's an interesting thought, that perhaps Zoom will introduce something that after the digital machines entered of light and sound and them created equal distribution of things we see on stage, that now Zoom will actually perhaps add something. I never thought about this. So so do you give actors already lines over the internet, over the Zoom? Do you have send it to them up front and they speak a monologue for you, or how does it work?
By far, I did just doing a workshop, and my way of workshop is always the same.
Tell us a little bit. We know, but maybe not all of our listeners do.
Of course, I'm always asking actors to tell how your current house or the house you used to live is like. So if you ask that you are telling your house, like the entrance is here.
Tell us about your house, where you grow up.
Where did you grow up? Hallways and the bathroom is on your right side, like this. So when you talking about your house, almost spontaneously you have to move your body like this. So and I'd like that we'd like to see why you're moving like this. Because when you try to talk something, when you're talking about your house, you have to have the imagination that house in your mind, and that kind of imagination can make your body move like this. So my basic and first idea is that how much imagination can make your body. In other words, the imagination can choreograph you. So I like to find movement in based on that kind of ideas. So I need to
So you see the gestures the actors make and then transfer them to lines. So the ghost, is that a ghost-like presence then already of an actor on your screen? Is the person already, is it real? Is it not? Is it a ghost? Even if he's alive?
It's interesting. I never I've never thought like this, but but at the same time I'm almost always feel the similarity of the idea of ghost and the idea of actors, idea of theater. Because for me, theater is putting something imaginary on some physical space. So and the materiality, reality, the kind of fiction or the imaginary things can be overlapped. on the physical space or the
Mhm.
some materiality.
Okay.
So and so the experience experience both the materiality and the imaginary fiction. For me, it's theater.
Yeah, that's great. There's also Marvin Carlson's great book on ghosting and how closely it's related to actually that we sit in a dark room in the theater, the light goes off, and a Greek army supposedly is right side on stage or not. We imagine it. Dead people who no longer exist talk to us with someone who's living. We believe it, and we don't so know it's not real. So there is something that perhaps opens our minds and creates a space for imagination and rethinking. And the Japanese tradition of ghosts and the no place, which is so in the stories, is so significant. So it is a ghostly time in a way. Also, do you feel? And Peter Eckersall also sent that in as a question. You know, they said our reality is now stranger than fiction, or more unthinkable than perhaps we have ever thought. How can we create theater that deals with this? How do we react? How do you think theater artists can or should react to it, or you as an individual artist?
I think always reality reality and fiction juxtaposed. Always. Of course now things seems to be much clearer. And how reality, that I can understand. If you can see the reality seems to be much stronger than fiction. But for example, I think we can think like this. That of course virus is invisible. We can't see that. So that if we are afraid of a virus, it means that we can have some fictional imagination. Otherwise, that there, you can see any virus around you.
It's invisible.
So I think, we have to manage, but taking balance, between reality or fiction, or in other words, we have to have some imagination. So if and you can care of how what is taking your imagination. I mean, for example, it's different story, but for example, terrorism. Terrorism is one way to control your imagination in fear. So but if but sometimes we have to care. We have to manage my way of using my imagination in different way. I mean, otherwise, my imagination is taken only by fear. So then that we need to find alternative way of taking your own imagination. So in a way, I believe fiction is a very strong option. If you can, and if you have some imagination, which is good, you can manage. You can manage things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what's happening all the time, always. But in these days of the age of coronavirus, it's good. In a way, it's good for everyone, of course, including artists, to contemplate that kind of idea in comparison with ordinary days. So I believe something new and something stronger, new idea can be appeared due to this situation.
Yeah. How is the mood in Japan on the streets in your town, or I don't know if you work shortly in Tokyo? So how do you describe it among artists? How is it?
Now I'm not in Tokyo, so but as far as I heard or that I read or that I see the information from the media, people are very divided. Some people are very careful, but at the same time, there are so many people who are going out, as usual. Because government is not ordering of withdrawing. It's unlike Europe or States.
Tell us a bit. I know you were a strong critic. You gave a strong critique of the Japanese government after Fukushima. You decided to move out of Tokyo because of that, and your work engages with these and vital environmental questions also. Is that Corona time we live in now, the COVID-19 virus? Do you see that in a strain, in a chain of events that will and should have happened, and that you kind of said, I'm going to get out of Tokyo, I'm going to move there to have my family safe early on, but I will focus in my work to highlight this. So is your work influenced, and what's your idea about all of this? What are your thoughts?
These days I often compare how the days was after Fukushima disaster and the current situation. Of course there are some similarity, but at the same time there are so many difference. In a way, Fukushima nuclear power plant incident was a very big event for everyone, but of course for me too. Because we decided that big change. We moved. Yeah, we changed our place to live. Yeah, and but then we were very afraid of the influence of radioactivity, especially to my kids. Yeah, but at the same time, I had to see. So there are so many people who had a different idea from mine. Yeah, there are so many people who didn't care about that. So that I had to feel a sort of tension of my mindset and the other people's mindset. It was very strong, and it made me exhausted very much. Yeah, I wonder how it is now. It's similar or different. Yeah, because now I have no chance to compare because I have yet to visit the Tokyo area. But if I were go to Tokyo, maybe I'm going to experience something similar, maybe.
How did the Fukushima disaster change your work as an artist?
Biggest one for me, it was it made me realize the sense of division in society. In fact, yeah, to be honest, I've never felt like this before Fukushima incident happened. It was very big for me. Yeah, and since then I started to work based on that kind of a sense of division in society.
Maybe give me, which play was the first one you did after?
The first one is the play. The title was Current Location. The current location was almost direct description about that kind of a sense of division or the tension between people who have different ideas about current situation.
To talk about the political, do you feel an artist has a role to play in the society on the political side? The way, how did the government react and how you reacted towards this? Is there something you feel is a responsibility?
Unfortunately, I don't think of my government as some agent who can take responsibility. So so we have to make my way, by myself, of course. Yeah, and as an artist, I feel I have to make some fiction, as I mentioned. Because for me, the fiction can be alternative reality, or fiction can be something that make tension between reality, or if you can have some fiction, and you can and the fiction work can work in a way that is that can be kind of lively to reality. That kind of way of thinking came to me after Fukushima incident. It was another big change happened to me. The Fukushima incident gave me.
Where were you of the day of the Fukushima incident when it happened?
Then I was in my house with my family. Then my house was kind of suburban of Tokyo. So it was it's a bit interesting, the story. The day the big earthquake happened, it was my son's birthday, so that's why I was in my house. Otherwise, otherwise I would be a different place, because my company was supposed to show my piece in different city. But I asked the technical directors to make my arrival day there a day later or two. Because I wanted to be my family then. So then the earthquake happens. But it was good. I could be with my family when earthquake happened. But on the next day, I joined my company. There it was. It was local city. And then it was. It was on the television in the dressing room of the theater. We watched the explosion of the nuclear power plant.
In a way, perhaps for the world, it is something maybe not on the scale of the nuclear explosion, but right now what is happening is these kind of a global disaster. So I know you then went on with your work. You also work at the Munich Kammerspiele a lot. Your play was selected for the Theatertreffen in Berlin. Of course, it can't be shown. The Theatertreffen has been cancelled. Did you bring your experiences, your sensitivities from that time of disaster and the time of death experience. It's close to us, as the virus is among us everywhere. In every community it is. We cannot pretend it's not. So in a way, there is something similar, invisible, like almost like the radioactive, emissions. In a way, did you bring that to your work on the Kammerspiele in Munich? Tell us a little bit about the work you did there, and if you felt that there is something that formed you, that also became part of the tools.
Yeah, I made 4 pieces in Münchener Kammerspiele. So almost all of 4 productions had a subject that relates to a problematic situation in Japan. Yeah,
Tell us.
Okay, the one thing is precarious labor situation. The next one is
first was on labor, the labor situation.
Yeah, labor situation. Work. Yeah,
work and labor.
Yeah, working situation. And the next one. Yeah, next one is how economic situation in Japan was going south since the decades, since decades, years. Or the next one is Japanese people's tendency who are not interested in having sex. But my latest one is dealing with the subject of it's called hikikomori. Hikikomori means that there are people who are withdrawing in a house. They are not interacting with society.
Which is, of course, an interesting subject, and I wanted to bring that up. There's also the play of Yoshiji Sakati on The Attic, and your work on this of young people also who do not leave the house and what it means to the mind. But right now, at least in Europe and in the US, people cannot leave their house. Tell us a little bit about that work, what you do and what you see, what it means, what it stands for, that people voluntarily already didn't leave their house, but it had consequences for their lives.
In terms of hikikomori problem, I think the biggest reason why there are so many people who are not connecting to society is because there are so many pressure in a society. So so once you fail, or you confront with some very strong pressure, so it can discourage you. So I totally understand that so many people are giving up their giving up to keep the interaction with the society. So they are putting themselves into inside.
Yeah, I think I remember your play Enjoy, where played with that idea that if you're 30, you don't have a steady job yet, you are an outcast, you have failed your life, you're kind of a shame, and people, many of them go back to their homes, really live in the attics, don't have contact with the outside world. Somehow in a similar situation now, and of course it is devastating to the mind, but also a sign of a society where things perhaps are not handled as should be. Do you have trust in your government at all? And as an artist, tell us a little bit. What is the relation of you?
No,
and the government?
I don't. As I mentioned, they don't seem to take any responsibility. So they don't propose any any practical idea. Yeah, by far. So for example, the government says that they recommend not to go out on weekends, but they don't say anything about how about weekdays. Yeah, because they can't guarantee any money if they don't go to business on weekdays. So even now, even now in Tokyo, so many people are packed in train. It's terrible. Yeah, so I can trust.
No, you're really right. I mean, we heard Han Chen Fang, and who said, that somehow it seemed like in China it is relaxing, things are working. In Italy, when we talked to Armana and Marco, they're in the middle of it for 2 months. They haven't left the house, but perhaps in Japan, it hasn't fully arrived yet. That you wash hands, you wear your mask, limited your contacts to 3, 4, 5 people, stay at home. So another tsunami in a way of that virus is coming. It is already there everywhere. And it's a big question how society deals with it. So how do you keep yourself busy? I see behind you, these tapes. What do you read? What do you watch? And what music do you listen to?
The one is the original text of no praise.
Say again?
The original no text, which is written by...
No place.
No
place. So you go back to read the 400, or more.
To be inspired. Yeah, but I read some... I read some books, for example.
What did you read?
One is, it is, Shock Doctrine.
Yeah.
And written by Naomi Klein. It's in a way perfect time to read it. It's interesting. And and some Japanese philosophers' book. It is it was written more than 50 years before, but what he was writing is still very critic is looks like very contemporary. It seems like
bit. What is he thinking about?
It's that how the Japanese way, Japanese society's way of making a decision is complicated, or how they are good at avoiding to take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's very complicated, but yeah.
So it's
but it's still very working. I can read it like as what's happening now.
no. And you said you do a lot of cooking. So what do you what do you do? What are your favorite things to do? Do you
There's a couple of days before, very nice vegetables came to house. And it is coming from it was coming from a very good farm. They are they're growing the vegetables in organic way without any the chemical things or the without very in very natural ways. So it was very good. So nowadays I'm cooking as a simple way as possible because make the vegetables potentials
to come out. And how do you stay in contact with your family? Are they safe? Are they where's your family?
Almost all. My mother, she's living in Yokohama. It's part of Tokyo. So now I'm not with her, but I'm often contacting, and she's still fine. But she's already in her 70s. So usually when I'm working in Tokyo, I'm staying at her place. But if I'm going to Tokyo to work soon, maybe I will have to find other place for me to stay. I don't. This time I don't like to go to her place.
You don't want to bring anything. So tell us a bit at the end of, we're coming to the end of our time, but we ask, if for young artists, young directors, writers, actors, what is your advice? What do you think they should do now? Or what is the thing to do at the moment?
Now, I'm excited in a way these days. Because now it's a good chance to find new way, to find a new theater. For me, as I mentioned, theater is the way to produce some fiction and way of putting some fiction on some physical space, but some material on some materiality. Usually the theater can be done in theater as a building. But I believe that kind of frame of thought about theater can be realized in a different way from ordinary way of theater. Now, I'd like to think like this hard, and I want to find some new way of outputting the theater. And yeah, that if I can have something to tell young artists, yeah, I recommend them to think like this and find something new, something very new.
Yeah, that's true. As Brecht said, new times do need new forms of theater. Heiner Müller famously said, using Brecht without criticizing it or changing something is treason. You have to come up with something new, and this is a time. Yeah, Toshiki.
I found that what Brecht says 100% right.
Yeah. Yeah, so Toshiki, thank you so much for staying up so late. It must already be 2 o'clock in Japan now. And the ghosts, which for sure exist, will come and visit you or might be around you now, and they might even have been listening to the talk and maybe will in your sleep give you a good idea. So this brings an end to our very first week here on the Segal Talks. And we really would love to thank HowlRound for being such a generous and great host, Vijay and Thea, for doing this. My Segal team is May and San Young and Jackie, the great Jackie, to help us out here. We're going to have a week. We're going to send out a release soon. We will have hear from people from Egypt and from Lebanon, from Taiwan, from Germany again. We will have Meredith Monk with us from Burkina Faso. And so really taking a view around the world. So please do stay tuned. Thousands of people listened in. We were surprised by this. We had listeners from 17 countries. We hear so much from politicians at the moment, medical the doctors and from virologists. So I think it is also time to really take a time to think, to listen, hear from artists, and which is very important. I think they also have a voice and a very significant one. And as you have been early warners, so as thank you also to all of our listeners out there. I know times are complicated and difficult, and also everybody is very busy and so much is going on online. So it's a big honor for us to have you with us. Again, look at also at Taylor Mack's initiative, trickleupnyc.org. One of the many ideas. There are many others, and we will have maybe like a whole week dedicated also to New York artists coming up. So again, thank you so much, and Toshiki, sleep well, and I trust everything will go well.
Yes, I do.
And right rehearsals might add something that was not there before. Will be interesting to see, and if something that might also change your way of working, that you said there was something in there, or in the early phases, we will all see. Nobody knows yet what is about to come, and so this makes it for interesting times. So good night to Toshiki, and thank you to all our listeners, and we all hope to see you on Monday. Go to segalcenter.org for the updated programming, or to HowlRound. Thank you very much.
Thank you.